Delano, hypothetically, what can happen in ground ups after February 1st between JetBlue and the IAM if the union wins in between that time when we get the results of the vote and ratification of a contract, which is roughly about a couple of years? What can happen? What does it look like?
So that's a good question. That's a very good question. So basically, if the IAM is voted in, right, you're not protected still. So the IAM, they'll be voted in, but you don't have a contract.
Right.
You don't have a VC.
Right.
You have nobody to currently hold leaders accountable. It's still JetBlue's company.
Hold on. So if I have an issue that I would normally take to the VC right now and post an IAM win, who do I go to?
They will be building up their shop stewards to figure out that portion, but it would be no kind of VC. Like right now, the appeal process, first thing going, we got an appeal process for our crew members. That's out of the window. We have people who go in and speak to JetBlue. JetBlue has an in-source outsource mechanism currently, right? And it'll be nobody to hold them accountable to that in a sense because it's already ran. And to be quite honest with you, we have a lot of stations year after year who falls under that mechanism, but we're able to hold on to them because the VC represents the crew members.
And for reference, where would crew members find this mechanism? I know you said previously that it's public knowledge in terms of public internal knowledge for crew members on Hello JetBlue. So where would they find that?
So you go on Hello JetBlue and you just type it in. This is the document I have.
Yeah.
You just type in AVC and Airports Leadership Agreement, station closures, business partners transition, and more. So basically, we came up with a dialogue of how much flights a station has to have if JetBlue wanted to go business partner, or they wanted to actually go to JetBlue crew members. We have that already. So to be quite transparent, we have some stations that we feel meet the requirement to in-source GEO. That would be two of my head I know for a fact I could think of is SFO and Miami. They meet the thresholds as far as flight count and different things. However, we have numerous stations that fall under there.
So hold on. This document was created when?
I would like to say July 2020.
And for crew members who are actually going to look up this, I want to put the thing on the screen. This is the title you look for. And you can go on Hello JetBlue and find that. You said Miami. Sorry for cutting you.
Yeah, so it's a very big document, right? So basically, we didn't plan for any kind of union activity as a VC, because we feel like we was doing a fairly good job on advocating for the crew, especially in our last two ACAS wins where we didn't have to give up like occurrences and different things. So we provided a structure where we work hand in hand with leaders every 3 years, and on the document it says to be revisited in 3 years.
So the fact that it was written in 2020 and it had a schedule to be revisited, this cannot be JetBlue cannot be accused of retaliation because it was done before any of this nonsense basically came about.
Exactly. So they have, when this was written in 2020, and like I said, people could look it up on Hello JetBlue. It's under the agreement that we come back to the table, us being the ABC, we sit down with leaders. I'm not in the business of crew members losing jobs, right? Or outsourcing stations. So before I would ask to in-source a station, if we have stations that don't fall under the parameters, I'd rather keep the stations who we have and keep those stations, the other ones who they can potentially in-source, keep them outsourced while we ramp up. JetBlue's a grown operation, and what a lot of people got to understand, right? In every union contract, they have a law they have to abide by where if the station falls under a certain amount of flights, the company can outsource. Every contract has that. This is public knowledge, like I like to say. So what crew members have to understand is the way we flex up and down with schedules. If JetBlue was big last year or early this year, they go, Newark and LaGuardia going up to 60 plus flights, right? And we're going to grow our operation. And what happened to that? They're back down to 30 flights,
Right.
giving out unlimited R&R in both stations. That's due to the simple fact that JetBlue's such a growing company, everything is subject to change. So now we get a union, right?
But even, not even just that, but the volatility of the industry in terms of a pandemic coming.
Exactly. But however, like unionized companies like Southwest and American and United, they know these stations are flying these amount of flights, period.
Okay.
Because it's longevity.
Right.
They've been there, their feet is planted in the ground. We're not going under this threshold. JetBlue, on the other hand, could say, hey, we want to, grow LaGuardia and downsize JFK. Let's drop JFK down to 100 flights because LaGuardia is making more money. Like JetBlue's a company growing to find their way, and our flight counts flex up and down so much that having something like that written in a unionized contract would not benefit the frontline crew.
Because just like crew members would love flexibility, JetBlue, from their business market and their plan, benefit from the flexibility of being able to make these decisions and change.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I mean, everything is like, it's a little give and take there, but that document, it means a lot. And when I say that is because next year's coming, and I want people to go read it because it says on there to be revisited in 3 years. Right? So they already have this document. So if the IAM coming back, hey, well, they're retaliating because the crew members voted in the union, JetBlue gonna say, this document was published and made in 2020, before you guys even had one card signed in your newly revamped attempt to, get our ground crews unionized.
So by the schedule, it would say it would be up for revisitation in 2023.
2023.
Which is next year.
Yeah.
Which is
The
several years before any contract. Hypothetically, if the IAM was to win, would come into force.
Yeah. So basically, at that point, JetBlue can't change any structural changes, right? So until that contract is ratified, they're not going to make any structural changes to, they're not going to be able to change different things about the operation. However, things that they had set in stone before takes precedence.
Such as this.
Such as that document.
Fair enough.
So I need crew members in our small stations, the Buffaloes, the Vegas, Tampa's, RSW, BDL, all of our ground crews to go and read this document. This is a very important document, and it's an average of flights. So if you have, even PBI, because if you flex up in only holiday seasons, like holiday season, PBI, I think they over 20 flights. But in the trough, which is like January, February, they drop down to like 10 flights. Somewhere around there. Don't quote me on that, but they it's a peak up and on. So those are going to be affected because you got to average 10 flights. So I mean, it's a big document. You guys really want to. This agreement. Oh, Buffalo always falls on it, but Buffalo is our senior station, man. We don't let go of Buffalo. Sentimental value. And that's something from the direct relationship. That was one of besides Kennedy, of course, that was one of the first other ground crew stations. If everybody that has tons of seniority, and Buffalo, we definitely try to protect. But like I like to tell crew members, once you go union, it's like having a third party. It's like a middleman now, right? So
strictly business.
Yeah, strictly business at that point. It's no more, was where we started. It's no more no furlough. It's what's best for business, period. Point blank. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
No doubt.